So I'll start out the video with this beautiful Redfire '03 Mustang GT that I've seen here in town. When I go over and I know where it's parked, where the person works, I like to see the car if I'm on that side of town and just kind of look it over. It's beautiful. Anyway, I went up to the Sonic Blue GT Mustang parts car and I got a couple things. I got the fender well liner and I also needed this sway bar end link. And so that was just something I needed for the GT. But what I really wanted to do was get the Mach audio system out of this car. And you have probably seen the video. I had put this all in the yellow GT already, but I also needed to get the harness for the Mach audio for the stereo section. So here you can see the harness is all there. Luckily the yellow GT still had all that in there. It was just tucked aside. They had put an aftermarket head unit and speakers in the yellow car, but they did leave the harness there, but I brought this one with me anyway. So I had gotten all this Mach audio stuff out of the car, but more important, I had to get the harness behind the radio and cut it and bring it down so I could splice it and solder it in. So here's the GT, and my friend Joe was really nice to get me this 6-disc out of his '01 Bullet. And I don't really care about the 6-disc part, I just care about the stereo and the Mach audio. And so here's the harness that I had cut out of the Sonic Blue car, and all those like 20 wires needed to be soldered in. And so here's the rat's nest of wires under here for the new stereo, and some of them are just capped off, and those are the Mach audio ones. So I got the soldering gun out and I went ahead and matched every color, and it worked out very nicely. And so I soldered each one, I stripped the wires, I wrapped them in the way that I saw in the Ford manual that my friend lent me about wiring, and then I wrapped electrical tape around each wire, and then I was able to wrap the bundle together. So once I got it all set, I plugged it all in to make sure that it worked, and everything worked perfectly. So I was very happy about that. So here's the whole wiring harness now with a new connector on it. It's a little extra long because I'd rather have done it longer and been able to work with it than have it too short. And so anyway, with the stereo in place now, it works. So I'm not going to play music on the channel, of course, but you can see the radio's working, and take my word for it, it works nicely. And so now all of the speakers work. It was only the tweeters working before with the other head unit because it was set up differently, and they had different aftermarket speakers in, which I know some sound systems are really nice, but to me, I just love the stock Mach 460 audio system. I think it is so nice, and I love the bigger buttons for the radio, and I usually just use my Bluetooth cigarette adapter anyway, but speakers work just perfectly, so I'm very happy about that. And then once I was done, I wrapped it all nicely again. And then I met my wife at a park with the kids, and she had the GT for the day, the silver one. So always fun to watch her drive off in that. And so this is the park in the old neighborhood where our last house was, and there was this True Blue Mustang GT, but it had '04 badges on it, which is weird because they only made True Blue from '01 to '03. So maybe they just put those '04 badges on it because they like the badge better. But I had actually seen this car before, and look at those exhaust tips. Oh my gosh, it's like, I don't see how you can walk behind that car without slicing your shins open. But anyway, I had seen this car. It was actually parked up in this small little town up where I got the Sonic Blue Mustang GT when I went and picked it up. And so kind of interesting to see it again. It has like a Mustang running pony on the back of the deck lid. But cool car, and it's funny because it's in the neighborhood like a block away from my first house that my wife and I had together. And so it's really interesting. That's the house we lived in when I bought the Bullet, and when I had it and worked on it and supercharged it and did everything, engine swap, all that stuff to it. So it's interesting to see that car in our old neighborhood, and I would think that some people might even think that it's my old Bullet because it looks like a Bullet. It doesn't have a rear spoiler. So very, very easy to mistake that for my Bullet. So cool car though. Nice to see it. So you can see it seems like it's running really well. I think it helps having some 91 octane in it. It probably has a tune on it from the previous owner with a 91 octane tune. So anyway, that's the update. We took it out for ice cream and had some fun. And so all's well with the yellow GT. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.